We're gonna be chilling.
Poor guy.
Yeah, he's not happy with me right now.
He's
I
so
just
cute.
didn't want him knock you over. He's a big one.
We have two little ones that could knock you over, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think my chihuahua could do it if he really wanted to. I'm excited about the book festival.
Oh my gosh.
I'm so excited.
Oh my gosh, it's so amazing. I've been doing it for several years, and Jim and I used to entertain there too. But these wonderful people have inspired me so much and helped me get my book out. And now I get to be an author this year for the first time.
How exciting.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be.
I have all of these.
You have, and she's adorable.
Yeah, I have all of her books.
Jody is amazing. She's just such a sweetheart.
She really is.
She's helped me out so much with all the things. Like you can't just write a book.
Good morning and happy Monday to all. Yes, it is Monday, but I am excited because today with us on the Community Spotlight, we got the Payson Book Festival with us, and today we have author Kathleen Kelly. Good morning.
Well, the top of the morning to you, God bless you.
Thank you. How are you?
I am so excited about the Payson Book Festival, and it's coming up right on July 23rd, Saturday. So we got lots of time to read up and meet the authors.
Yes.
And a lot of these authors are right here in Payson, too. So we got such talent in Arizona. We got amazing talent. So in my book, my husband Jim and I, we have a little band and stuff. And every year we would pretty much, a couple times, we played at the Payson Festival.
Oh, wow.
And got to meet all the wonderful art. You read books, but to meet the people and hear their stories.
It's different, isn't it?
Oh, it's a whole nother world.
It really is. And that's how I feel when I go to the Payson Book Festival, especially after interviewing the authors, because most of the interviews that we do get are over phone. So we don't get to see the person in person.
It's a hold up. Oh, you're going to love it. And there's over 80 authors. And this year, I am going to be an author for the first time.
Well, congratulations. Yay.
Oh, my goodness. I just got my book out, and it's Voices of the ER by Kathleen Kelly. Voices of the ER by Kathleen Kelly. Oh, but it's been such an experience. I'm part of the Arizona Professional Writers, and we meet and they encourage other authors and help them, and they were wonderful to me.
Is that the one that meets at the Lamplighter?
I don't know about the Lamplighter.
Okay.
We've been doing most of our meetings at Zoom now.
Oh, on Zoom?
Because more people show up, you can see them.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, when did you get into writing your book?
Well, I've always been writing. I mean, and if anybody out there is interested in writing and has some ideas, come to the book fair because you'll find inspiration.
Oh,
You'll find people like you and me that just decided that we got something to say.
Yep.
And they will help you and guide you because there's so much that goes into that. And you have to have a great amount of, I don't know what, strength, endurance.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, I'm old, 75, and typing and doing all that computer stuff, there's so much more to writing a book. And anyway, you can talk to these wonderful artists and writers. We have children's authors that they're going to be presenting their books, and I love children's books anyway.
Me too.
I'm immature, I'm going to stay young.
It's all right.
And we have wonderful, even our own mayor, Tom Morrissey's got his book out.
He sure does.
And you'll be there, and let me just read some of the wonderful people. We're just talking about Jody.
You know, Jody Sharp has a special place in my heart.
Does she?
My cousin passed away at 17 years old, and Jody heard my story and wanted my aunt to have all of her books. She also lost her daughter. And so she wanted to make sure that my aunt had her books, and we have all three. So,
and she is, have you met her?
I have met her. She is an amazing woman.
She's got
so
such a
sharp.
great,
Yeah, her heart is a heart full of gold, if you want to say that.
Yeah, Jody, we love you.
Yes.
My son was killed at 17.
Oh, wow.
And I'm an ER nurse. I've been an ER nurse forever. And this Voices of the ER talks about that, what happens with birth and death and that veil that you cross.
Mhm.
And what I've seen and felt when I've been there, because that's a sacred time.
Mhm.
And we are welcomed on the other side. And also it talks about funny things and stuff, but it really gives you the soul of what the emergency room and the miracles and the angels that come in, the doctors, nurses, patients, they teach you something every day. It's
Absolutely.
been a rich experience, and for me to write that down,
What a hard book to write.
it was, and then it wasn't, it's something about healing, about
Did it just flow out of you?
Can you believe it? I thought, it took me a while to get the courage to try, but once I started, I couldn't shut up. Can you believe I couldn't shut up?
They say that about me too,
Jim says
Kathleen.
it.
It's okay. That's why I'm in radio.
Oh, God bless you. Oh, anyway, let me talk about some of the other,
Yeah.
Jody and we got Jody Decker, and she's amazing, her writing. And, let's see, I got, I'm just talking about the one, so here, this one I'll give you. This is mine.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
Yeah.
And Robert Hertzberger. He is a very interesting man, and he's a great writer, and he knows how to put the facts out there and
He
deliver
was
it.
just at the Payson Library. So if you
Yes.
guys got to see, he did a little show, a little meet and greet he had at the Payson Public Library of his book and his story with Alzheimer's with his wife.
Yes.
And he put on quite the performance.
I'm so proud of our Payson writers.
Yes, we have some amazing
Oh, man.
writers here in Rim Country.
Oh, gosh, yeah. Oh, and of course, I was, and I still am, a healthcare, health department nurse for the safety of women and children.
Mhm.
And I do a lot of work here, and Don Engler was the chief of police.
Yes, he was.
And he was so wonderful, and he
Yes.
really supported all the work that the health department's doing here. And his wife, Sherry Engler, have you ever met her?
I have.
Well, you gotta meet her. Come on
If
over.
you haven't, you definitely need to. She is so funny. Her book is fun. I mean, if you haven't met her, you have to.
She writes about what it's like to be the wife of
Yep.
a police officer, and the stories are really interesting, and she's got such a way about her. And she's so charming and warm. It's so much fun to meet somebody after you read the book. So
Yes.
read a lot of these books.
The Engler family is they're just a great family. So it was great
Aren't
to
they?
be able to sit down and talk to her and learn about how she feels being on the other side of being a police officer. But she
Yeah.
is the police officer's wife.
And it's probably why I wrote my book too, is because this has been a really difficult time for medical professionals. It's just
it
been
has.
a really trying, but they're such courageous and beautiful, sweet people that put their lives out there.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to show the part where we laugh. I mean, some of the stories are so funny, you can't make this stuff up,
No.
There's some stories that are off the wall. And there's some stories that touch you about the moment of birth and the moment of death, and how we are so guided. We're never really alone.
No.
That we need to, but also I think we need to see nurses and doctors with lives, with people, and it's not just that white coat.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're just tuning in with us, we are getting to start. This is our first interview. You are our very first this year for the Payson Book Festival authors, and we are so excited. It is coming July 23rd. That means it's right around the corner. It starts at 9 a.m. It ends at 2:30. It's a day full of fun. Also, you can go to paysonbookfestival.org, click on Meet the Authors, and you can go to Kathleen Kelly, and it'll take you to her profile. You can buy her book. Can you buy your book online?
Oh yeah, you get on Amazon and they'll, you can buy 12 of them if you want.
Absolutely. And then you can go to the Payson Book Festival and get her autograph.
Oh, yeah.
That is one of my favorite things to do, is go and get the autograph after I've read the book.
It's kind of cool.
It is,
really
because,
is.
you know, when you go into the store and buy books and stuff, you don't ever get that, you know, that option of getting that autograph
Yeah.
personally to you.
It's
So, it's great.
I remember the last book festival, Sherry Engler was there. And Tom Morrissey and so many other, Connie Cockrell. She's an incredible writer.
She is.
And Sherry said to me, well, next year, you gotta be there. And I'll tell you what, that just stayed with me. So
And
I
you went and did it. And she has Voices of the ER, you
in
guys.
case you missed
She
it.
did it. Good
But it
job.
was such a cool thing that people care about you. And if you're interested in writing, come to the book festival, because you'll meet so many beautiful people that have done it.
Yes.
And they have, they're about as simple as I am, and you figure them. But once you start writing, oh man.
You probably just don't stop, do you? Are
No.
you already working on your next one?
I am definitely working on a few of them.
Wow.
And I just keep once you get started, it's kind of fun. And especially if you meet other authors, the Arizona professional writers really were my backbone in this, because if I give up or stop or have a problem, they really supported me.
Good.
So, yeah, I'm writing one about my husband, Jimmy.
Lucky man.
Well, he was brought up on a Maumee Indian reservation. And then he went, at 8 years old, his mother died. He had polio and a mohawk when they put him into the Lutheran orphanage at 8,
Wow.
which is a whole different thing. Then he learned, it's just, his story is so fascinating.
I was just gonna say, you got quite the story.
I know.
I can't wait to read that, actually. You've given me goosebumps on his story.
Well, I started actually writing his story because it's so amazing. And then he's an incredible musician. Everybody knows Jim West here in town.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just, and I think I love him. I would marry him if I hadn't already. But I started writing his, and then I thought, well, I'll practice up on mine. And if I think I can write a book, then I'll do his.
Well, check you out. You have done it.
Oh, I hope I didn't forget. We have so many good.
We have a lot of good authors coming. I was here we are. I just found it. You can learn more about Kathleen Kelly at miss.com, myss.com.
Well, that's
/profiles.
actually Miss.com. She put that in because I am also a medical intuitive. And if you've read any of Carolyn Mace's books, the Sacred Contracts, and I've known her for a long time, but I took her classes to become a medical intuitive. But I've also been holistic health and
Wow.
into all kinds of body, mind, spirit healing. And you can get on my website on Carolyn Miss's web, and I do consults about healing and about.
Wow. You got a whole book right there on its own.
I'm just full of it.
You got a lot of books up in there.
Yeah.
I would be definitely busy if I were you.
Well, I'm trying to get a website, so I have somebody Jody Sharp is helping me with my website because I can't figure out all this stuff. I don't know about you, but the computer world, I'm learning a lot.
It's a lot in the computer world. It definitely is, especially if you've never done it. But when I was in school, we got to learn from Tim Fruth. He is our computer guy here in Rim Country.
Oh, yeah?
And that was my computer teacher, and he taught me quite a bit. So I was lucky to have him. But computers, whew, that is a lot.
I can't do it without a grandkid. It's just, it won't work for me.
I think even my 16-year-old knows a lot more on the computer than I do, for sure.
You got a 16-year-old.
I do.
Well,
I
you
have a
look like
19
you
and
God.
16-year-old. Yes.
She looks so young. Oh, gosh.
Thank you.
Oh.
Well, if somebody out there is listening to you today and they're telling, just thinking in their head, I would love to write a book. I would love to put a story into a book. But there's something holding them back. What would you say to those people?
Just believe in yourself. Believe everyone has a story. and just talk to people. Sit and hear their stories and listen to how they tell their stories and see what you like and what works for you. And remember, when you write, you don't have to take anybody but yourself. Just remember, it's your book, it's your thing, it's your writing.
Mm-hmm.
Try to be true to yourself and come to the book festival and meet these wonderful authors. And you'll see all kinds, and there's all kinds of people. You'll relate to some of them and you'll be inspired.
Yes. You're definitely going to be inspired by somebody at that Payson Book Festival. I believe there's quite a bit of people that have been there, and there she is, Jan Martin.
Oh,
Jan Martin has been one of my favorite authors there. She has written quite a bit of books, and I don't know. She just really touched my heart. Her story, her spirit, just walking into a room and she can light up the room. And that's what a lot of these authors at the Payson Book Festival do for us. As you can see, as Kathleen done to this room, just brought so much excitement in the room. And, I just want to hear all about you and all of the things that you have going for yourself right now.
well, let me just say one more thing. The most important thing, if you want to be a writer, read. Read everything. Read all kinds of books. Read everything. And then you'll see how the grammar works, how the book form works, and then you'll start putting it in order in your own mind. And just keep reading and find out where it is that you're attracted to and why you think that book is good, and think it through. And the next step is just start writing, and start maybe writing about 20 minutes every day. And that, because if you tell yourself, it's like if you're going on a diet, you get really hungry. So tell yourself, I'm only going to write for 20 minutes every day. And you'd be surprised when some days it'll just take off and you'll be sitting there for hours,
Even though you told yourself 20 minutes, huh?
Yeah, but I don't get scared of 20 minutes,
Perfect.
But just do that, and it just gets yourself into the discipline of writing, and read everything you can get your hands on.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, we have so many wonderful talent. Pete Ellisher is a wonderful writer too. He does so much for the Payson Roundup. And Michelle Nelson. We have so many beautiful, and they Payson Roundup.
Yep.
Little plug for them.
Yeah.
But we have so many talented people. And I did, before the COVID thing, I did the Hometown Country radio show.
Mm-hmm.
And I wrote the rodeo show and the radio shows, and I did the 125th anniversary melodrama, got actors, and you just start writing. You can put on shows. But that helped when I see my plays acted out. You could see these
that's
characters.
Exciting.
And then seeing those characters, I could describe them when I'm writing. So,
Wow.
yeah.
If I were to ask, what is the hardest part of starting to write a book?
It's starting to write a book.
Just getting the pen and paper out, huh?
That's a great question. You're just a wonderful interviewer.
Oh, thanks.
Oh, God, you can keep your job, okay?
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. The hardest part is believing that you got something to say, and thinking that you have to have it all figured out before you start. So that keeps a lot of people from even trying. It's all. Oh, and this is another thing people say. Well, it's probably already been said.
Oh.
Well, it hasn't been said by you.
Right.
And we're all so unique, and we all have our own way of expressing. And people, when you sit and talk to people, which I hope you do interview people, because that'll help, you'll realize that they don't need to be an English teacher or some special. They have a way of presenting themselves, and you can put those characters in your books. So meet people and talk to them, and just 20 minutes of just write. I can't think of a thing to write. Maybe I should write it and just start writing, and then it'll flow. But don't feel like you have to have the whole book figured or the whole story. It'll start telling itself, because that's how we are. Our creative minds, that's how it works. And you're going to open a door to your creative mind, because you can close that door every time you say, well, I don't have anything to say. It's already been said. I'm not that good. There's so many much better. Close that door and open the one that says, I have something to say. And just start writing, and you'll be surprised You'll surprise yourself.
Yeah, all those voices telling you that somebody's already wrote this book, or
Yeah.
they haven't wrote it the way you'll tell it. So there is definitely a book there. If you have an idea of one, write it down. Start writing 20 minutes a day, like she said, and you definitely will be surprised of how far you're going to go with that. This will be your first year attending the Payson Book Festival, right?
No, I've been going all the time, and Jim and I we sung at the festival.
Oh,
And
yes.
entertained. This is the first time as an author.
That's exciting.
I always supported all of them because I love them all, and now
Now you.
I get to pat me on the back.
That's so
It's
exciting.
hard to be shy, withdrawn, and introverted, I just have to say.
Again, she has the book called Voices of the ER. And again, what made you sit down and write this book?
Well, I've kept kind of journal of a lot of things that happened as an ER nurse. You are part of an intimate part of lives, and you get to cross over into places that other people don't see. And when you get past those doors of the ER and you get in, it's sort of like a place where now you're all one. We are all one there. There's no difference. There's the older, the young, the sick, the dying, the birth. We are all together in this, and you have to click like this. You're helping a mother whose child spits up, multicolors, and tell her about the Lucky Charm syndrome, not to worry. And next you go right over to the ICU, the trauma room, where you're putting people back together and looking at families that are watching the last minutes of their family members. And then those miracles, some of them you'll read in the book. There's some of them, this little Indian girl. And I was in Cholo ER and Payson ER, and it starts off in LA ER.
Oh, wow, I bet that was a wild.
So city medicine is a whole different world, and then I was in Mariposa County ERs, and all the ERs around here were. But up in Cholo is this country type of medicine. It's still here in Payson. And so people, you don't have to call someone to sit with a friend or get a ride home. Country people take care of each other. And someone is in the ER and it gets around and they get support, and they bring clothes for people that are, and it's, and I'm a sexual assault nurse examiner. In fact, I started the sexual assault nursing program in Arizona.
Wow.
I was in Cholo, and this little 2-year-old came in, and she had been sexually assaulted by her father. And we had no way of, even when we take the notes and we do all this, we don't do it so it stands up in court. And we had no power to save that baby, to keep her. And he went home with this little girl, and that got me. So I went into the director of nurses and said, we gotta do something. And they said, yes, you do, Kathleen. So I found, I didn't know about Google then, but I found this wonderful Mary Farrell in California that started the Sexual Assault Nurse Examiner program that teaches people, nurses, and I taught the police and the EMS how to deal with domestic violence and child abuse, and I would fill a rape kit with evidence chains and documenting, so that when someone asked, and I'd write down asking the patient this and quoting their answer, because lawyers can rip apart all this, so you have to be part of the legal team too. So I went to the director of nurses and said, I just talked to this wonderful Miss Farrell, and she said she'd come here, but it's going to cost all this money. So I said, just give me some time. I called every hospital in Arizona and told them we have this wonderful program that you should send your nurses up to Payson, this Cholo, and we will train them for a week on how to be a sexual assault nurse examiner. And they paid, I forgot how much, it was about $1,000 per nurse, but then they had this nurse examiner that they could call on if that happens. And when you're going through that trauma, you need specialized people.
Absolutely.
And I should tell you that in Payson here, we don't have a sexual assault nurse examiner. I tried to make them let me do it, but they said the liability or whatever. So anyone that needs to have that is beaten, raped, domestic violence, child abuse, that needs a sexual assault exam kit done, gets driven down to Phoenix after this trauma. And so I'm also advocating for us to get that, for Payson Hospital to start really addressing that issue, because it is a specialized issue.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, that's.
Well, congratulations on going that far and getting it worked out for, other communities, and hopefully one day Payson will have something like that, and when it does, I'm gonna be like, I met her.
Well,
She did it.
You were so much fun.
I can't wait to, hear all about your future in writing and in everything that you're doing. It's just been amazing to hear about you and your upcoming books of your husband, and wow.
It's fun. And when you write, you'll find it. If you write, when you're going through a hard time, that's a good time to write, because then you're feeling these emotions and write them down. So that when your story character is going through something, you'll read that back and go, oh, that's how it felt,
Right.
And if
Well,
you're
that's
having
good
a wonderful day or your things are good, write that down too, because it's the idea of expressing what's here, and then it becomes yours. And another thing is, when you're writing and someone else puts you down or just doesn't look interested, they're jealous, my mother would say.
My mom would say the same thing.
But just say it's my book, my heart, my soul. I'm putting myself into this.
Right.
And you'll find out, you'll learn about yourself, and you'll heal some of those wounds that have been stuck in there if you start writing about it. And as a medical intuitive, I find that people's auras and people's chakras and people's energy changes while I talk to them when I start connecting to the places that need healing in their body, mind, and spirit. Just expressing that helps them, feel it, hold it, let it go. I could talk forever.
Yeah, that is a good thing. With the authors, I would hope that they could talk a lot.
Oh, they're wonderful, every one of them.
They all have been wonderful. And again, this is our first day back with the interviews for the Payson Book Festival. We are so excited. This is something I've got to do for at least 4 years now. I have been interviewing authors for 4 years. I have met some of the most incredible people. I have got to be part of the Payson Book Festival. I've had a table up there.
What did you write? What'd you write?
I didn't write anything.
Oh, well, you could lie.
What I
believe.
did was I just sat up there for the radio station and
And looked like an author.
looked like I was special
I
out
say
there.
fake it till you make it.
Yeah, absolutely. I have some people out there that have been saying it the last few days. Just fake it till you make it. Well, we are so honored to be able to interview you, have you as the first author for the Payson Book Festival. Thank you so much.
Well, I so appreciate KRIM for doing this, giving our community a voice, and it's really wonderful. And that my husband made your sign out there, and I made the stained glass over there. So, if you want to see my artwork, I do stained glass.
Wow, guys.
Right
You
for
guys got
KRIM.
all kinds of talents hidden under there, don't you?
I'm just plugging everything.
Good job. Are you going to be performing this year? Or
Yeah.
just sitting for the book festival
At the
with
book
your
festival, we'll be sitting with the books,
No performing this year.
I might just sing out loud and embarrass myself, but otherwise.
Well, then I hope I'm part. I'm hoping I'm
Sure,
there when
I
you
could
do
sing an Irish ditty if you'd like.
that.
But no, we're gonna be just doing the books, but I sing all the time anyway, so.
Well, perfect. You guys, it is that time for us to head out. Can you believe 30 minutes just flew by like that?
Already?
Already, we are done. You guys can check her out at the Payson Book Festival. You can click on Meet the Authors, scroll down to Kathleen Kelly, and it takes you right to her website. And there, you'll find all the hidden stuff she's got. Thank you
Okay.
so much for being here today.
My website isn't up yet.
Well, it
But
does
Jody's
take
helping
you.
me put it up, but you can get on
Yeah.
Amazon and you can order the book, and tells you everything.
Yeah, here it does take you to this website that they
that's-
have of you.
I know she
And there's
put
some
them-
some fun stuff on this website
Oh,
they
yeah,
can
that's,
check out.
that's the
So
medical intuitive one, yeah.
yeah,
It's cool.
don't miss out on that one. Well, thank you all for listening out there, and here is the KRIM weather.
Now, the KRIM weather forecast for Payson.
Well, you're amazing.
Thank you.
You should get a job doing this.
I should.
Skies